My name is Mike Murray. In the interest of Central Indiana Gas Company and one of our continuing programs, I'd like to introduce to you a number of people who are responsible for this program. On my immediately right is Fred Derpin, who is superintendent of our central construction. Louis Mansfield, who is in charge of our leakage detecting service. Mr. McDonald of the Heath Survey, Mr. Bill Johnson, our safety and training director, and Mr. Jack Williams, also of the Heath outfit. This is a service that we normally employ each year, and for further conversation on this subject, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Mr. Bill Johnson.
These gentlemen representing the Heath Survey have been in our Muncie area approximately a month. They are scheduled to go from here to our Marion division. This program will require somewhere between 80 and 100 days to complete. It's a program designed to detect for us any minute amounts of gas that might be leaking from our facilities.
Here we'd like to show you what the equipment is and how it works. We have the booms on the front, which of course take in the sample. The sample is taken just above the ground or at ground level. The gas vents up through the ground into the funnel, runs up through the connections that we have here to a series of filters in the front. After it goes through the filters, it goes into a secondary pump where it's broken down. It continues on into a series of hoses and connections that we have underneath the front seat. From here we can break it down to a very small sample, which is sent back into the rear of the vehicle, and it's run through. This is the oxidizer. It's close to the final part of the system. When the sample reaches the oxidizer, if there's any impurities in the air at all, it's burned off. The only thing that gets through to our analyzer is the natural gas itself. When it reaches the analyzer, if there is any gas at all in the air, this thing will pick up 4 parts per million of gas, which is very low. It's almost impossible to find that any other way outside of through this system. When it reaches the analyzer, we get a reading, which is done through a casing that we have inside with an element in it that it maintains a constant temperature. When the temperature is brought up by the gas burning off through the element, it gives us a reading on both our meter and on our recorder at the same time. We're going to try and show you what it looks like when we do get a reading through one of the funnels. Right now, John is going to give it a span test. What he does actually is to force gas into the right funnel. The gas comes from a tank of methane that we have in the truck. As you can see, the needle is rising. It's just a very small percentage of gas that was forced into the funnel. One of these tanks lasts us 6 months or 7 months, and there's not very much pressure in it. So you can see that it picks up a very small amount of gas from the ground.